we're in the home stretch. It's actually really good to see this many people still here. And when I saw the schedule and I saw that I was the last lightning talk, the last talk of the event, I was wondering what I did wrong and why Chris and Scott were punishing me. But no, actually, I was thinking this morning, I was at AutoCon 0. That's back when we didn't know what this was going to be, what AutoCon was going to become and what NAF was going to be. And actually, I realized this morning I was the first panel after the keynote at AutoCon, and now I'm helping wrap up AutoCon 2. And it's been really great. I mean, we had, I think, 300 people the first one. We have 500 people here, and it's really awesome to see how this coalesces. So I wanted to share something that happened last night on our ride back from the event. I heard there was some karaoke at another place, but apologies to folks. Oh, did it not load? One more? Okay, well, we'll skip this one. Oh, okay, it's up there. All right. Well, we'll cut that out. I don't want to embarrass those people anymore. But I mean, I think that's what's great about this community, that, this was a bunch of random people on a bus and we all started singing and we had a great time. And so I really hope you all had a great time. But I know you're not here to listen to that. You want me to talk about, the lessons learned in automating a network. So I am Karl Newell. I'm a network software architect at Internet2. We run a nationwide network for research and education here in the US. 5 years ago, we decided we needed to upgrade our network. That wasn't challenging enough, so we decided to upgrade 2 networks. We actually upgraded our optical platform and our packet platform around the same time. And really, because we wanted the pain, we decided to do this in the middle of the pandemic. And so we actually did a full network upgrade starting in the summer of 2020. But going into it, we recognized, and part of what I'm going to talk about here is, at our organization, we recognize the need for automation in order to accomplish this. We are doubling our device count in our network, so that management was going to become more challenging. We were also switching vendors, so we needed to come up with ways to, kind of migrate our configuration. And we didn't want to just do it. We didn't really want to do it very much brownfield. We wanted to take that time to clean up our configuration, standardize it, and maybe, model it and turn it into service models. So I'm going to, and interestingly, usually when I started these talks, when I started talking to our community and organizations like this, I always talked about the technology, and the software we use and how we did that and all the processes. And while that's all really important, as I've done this through the years, the talk has evolved and I've realized what's more important is people and process. And that's what I'm going to talk about here today. So getting away from the technology. And it's good, we've heard a few people mention this. I think Anna in her opening talked about process. And it's really, and that's the other thing I like about coming to something like AutoCon, listening to people talk. They come up with similar solutions. It validates what you're doing. It also means we're all working together and getting, and working on the right solutions. So number one, organizational support, and this is for both directions. In this case, here's our manager. You can tell they're managers because they're wearing suits. We needed support from the organization to put in resources to automate our network. We had to acquire some technology in our case, but we also had to dedicate the personnel to do it. We ended up using Cisco NSO as a big part of what we did. And, it took about 2.5 FTE, 18 months to develop all the service models and really get NSO off the ground. And so, that was a huge commitment from our organization, in which we had almost no software developers in-house to commit that many resources. The other organizational support is to the engineers. We sort of heard it a lot with AI. AI is going to replace my job. And our, engineers at times are, worried automation is going to replace their jobs. And so we had to get support of our engineers, and we did that by working closely with them. And I'll have some more bullets on that. But getting, earning their trust, developing a system with them, not for them. It wasn't, we didn't sit in a black box and develop something and say, here you go, and shove it down their throats. We wanted them to decide, how that system worked. And so this was really key, and it was really Also, when we started, a few months in of actual deployment, we started having engineers come talk to us and telling us how great it was and how much easier their job, like their daily simple tasks were, and have that all automated. And then they started doing interesting things. In our case, again with NSO, using it for things I didn't think they were going to use it for. And it was just really cool to be able to give engineers a tool and let them figure things out. We heard this in the Quick Trip talk. So iterative development. This one's, again, people getting started. I try to, and I think a lot of us here are probably beyond the getting started stages, but I still include this. Iterate over your tooling, and don't try to, go all in. Don't try to boil the ocean. Start small and build. One thing we've done, we started with our service models, and we have some service models that are on their third iteration. We burned them completely to the ground and started over because we had to learn, and so we didn't hold on to our code. And we're actually currently looking at some, new tooling to replace what we have. And so again, it's just we're going to keep moving and keep iterating over what we're doing. And finally, this is the most important one. This one I could probably, speak a lot to and talk forever on. And I think I stole this diagram from John Willis's talk at the first AutoCon. So that's the wall of confusion between development and operations. And the idea here, in this example, is you have a development team that goes and talks to your, in this case, network engineers, and puts together a requirements document. And gathers that and then goes off for 6 months and writes some code and comes back and says, here you go, I have your solution. And the engineers go, what is this? I don't know, this isn't what I wanted. And that's nobody's fault. One, the network engineers probably didn't know what they wanted. This is new for them, or they didn't know what to ask for. And so, it's not like the developers did anything wrong. They built software for that purpose. But so we didn't want to do this. Internet 2, we were lucky because our software development team was born out of our network engineering team. Most of the guys that started it, we were network engineers before we started doing the software development. But we worked hand in hand with our network engineers as we developed the solution. We met every week. We talked to them, and it wasn't just that one call a week. If we were working on a service model for BGP peering, we talked to our interconnect architect and worked hand in hand with him to develop that. And we still do that. We still meet on a weekly basis. Mostly our stuff is in maintenance and feature request mode. But we're always looking for the network engineers' feedback. And I even remember a few cases early on, during that weekly call, we'd start the call off, we'd talk about we'd show them off some new service model, and they would say, oh no, we don't like it that way, we'd change it. And by the end of the call, an hour later, one of our developers would have code pushed to the repo that they could immediately go in and check out and use. And so to me, that's the most, this is, something I want to, everybody to, think about and try to embrace. And so as a developer and network engineers, make sure you're working together closely. And if you're, manager and directors, figure out how to enable your teams to do that. Give them the opportunity to work that closely together, and don't keep these groups separate. Well, it went a lot quicker than I expected. But again, thanks for coming, and glad I could wrap this up.